You were asked the question, how would you feel if Donald Trump beat you? How would you feel after you lost? And you said, well, as long as I did the best I could do, that's the most important thing. That's caused Democrats concern who believe that losing is not an option. What would you say to those who are concerned by that answer?
It's not an option, and I've not lost. I haven't lost. I beat him last time. I'll beat him this time. And this is a guy who, look, we talk about debates. Look at his performance at debates.
Well, I mean, if you felt that answer to George Stephanopoulos was a bit flippant, considering the stakes that some of us will have to live with for literally decades. Not all of us will have to live with it for decades, but when, a 7-2 or 8-1 Supreme Court is potentially one of the stakes. When, no fault divorce, the ability to use birth control, when IVF as a thing are the stakes. The future of our democracy, whether literally God knows what happens
OSHA
in Gaza, whether OSHA exists, whether we race past, the Paris Climate Accords targets and all that. There's a lot of stakes that some of us will have to live with for a very long time. When you say, well, if I know that I did my best, that's what counts. That's not a great answer, I don't think. And when you're asked about that and given a chance to potentially say, I apologize if that sounded flippant. I want to reassure everyone I'm taking this as seriously as I can possibly do it.
Yeah.
That you could do that, or you could chuckle as he asks the question. And I don't think either of those are great. Again, he knows he's under a microscope right now. He needs to reassure people. Again, and I know we're supposed to be caricatures. We're supposed to be super biased. All you want is get rid of him. No, what I want is for him to move up in the polls and not need to be replaced, because that would be a lot simpler. That would be a lot more reassuring.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
And so I didn't love the answer. What do you think?
Yeah, it was terrible. And actually, one thing that I'm noticing about Joe Biden now is actually how Trumpian he is. He's starting to behave more and more like Donald Trump, someone who denies basic stats and figures about himself, someone who's very cavalier in their response, doesn't take things seriously, someone who laughs stuff off. And it can be good. Sometimes you want kind of a hard ass, right? But where it mattered, where we wanted him to be a hard ass, was against his opponent, Donald Trump, and he was not able to do that. And here's the other thing, I do hate having to focus on this. I've hated having to focus on this since, a year ago, or gosh, so much longer than that. I don't like Joe Biden's policies generally, but as a president, he's done some good stuff. He can't even successfully pivot these conversations into what he's going to do, into how good he's done, how well he's done, into alleviating Americans' fears about whether or not he can win. I mean, I just feel like, look, Trump lives on planet Trump. More and more, I'm feeling like Biden lives on planet Biden.
Yeah, and before people start commenting, not saying he's Trumpian in ideology or policy or whatever, but some of the unwillingness to accept critique, accept evidence that seems to go against your narrative. And both of them have been wealthy, powerful, established, connected people for decades. When you are like that, you probably do not face a lot of people calling you on your BS and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so it's hardly surprising. It's more surprising when someone is willing to admit those sorts of things at this point. And so, look, we're gonna get to some of the statements recently, but just I don't see how these media appearances are helping. Now, maybe just time will help. Maybe just wait a week or two, and people will start to forget about the debate, and maybe the polls will move back up. That's possible. And again, despite the fact that I'm supposed to be a caricature, I already showed you polls last week that did not look as bad and said that if they continue to trend in that way, and if indeed the polls of the potential replacements don't seem like they're doing significantly better, then I will change my position on this. I've literally already said that, although no one acknowledges that. We are going to continue to look.
Who are you talking to, John? Who in the comments is who? Come on.
I will get to it during the social break.
All right.
What I'm saying is, if you want Biden to stay the nominee, I do not see why you would want this to be the way that he's communicating during this time, because I can't see how this is possibly helping him. That's all I'm saying. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.